What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Van Morrison with his song Astral Weeks off of his album Astral Weeks, which was released in 1968. A few of you guys had recommended this song, but a few of you guys had recommended this album. For a long time, I've heard a lot of good things about this album. I know that it's a critically acclaimed album, and to be honest, I think the album title is really cool. So I just figured, you know what? Why not take the first track, the title track, give it a spin, give it a listen, see what pops out on the other side. I do not know really anything about Van Morrison. I do know the song Brown Eyed Girl, because who doesn't know that song? But honestly, I haven't really looked at what other songs he does, and I do not really know much about him. I just want to say that when I don't know anything really about an artist, and I don't really know their sound or, you know, who they are as a whole, it's really exciting for me because I've mentioned it before, but when I explore bands like Genesis or Yes or Rush, like, I know what they sound like, you know? I'm probably going to like what I hear, but I know what they sound like. Van Morrison, I've heard Brown Eyed Girl. I don't know if the rest of his discography is like that, or if it's something completely different. But I'm at least about to find out with one song. Of course, you guys are more than welcome to join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on the song. Let me know your thoughts on the album, Van Morrison, life, anything. That's cool with me. Let's do it. This is Astral Weeks by Van Morrison.
If I ventured in the slipstream between the viaducts of your dream, where mobile steel rims crack and the ditch and the back road stop, could you find me? Or would you kiss my eyes, laying you down? Silence easy to be born again, to be born again. From the far side of the ocean, if I put the wheels in motion, and I stand with my arms behind me, and I'm pushing out the door, could you find me? Would you kiss my eyes, lay me down? Is silence easy to be born again? To be born again. There you go, standing with the look of avarice, talking to Hugh Ledbetter, showing pictures on the wall, whispering in the hall. I'm pointing a finger at me. There you go, there you go, standing in the sun, darling, with your arms behind you and your eyes before. There you go, taking care of your boy. Seeing that he's got clean clothes, putting on his little red shoes. Seeing that he's got clean clothes, putting on his little red shoes, pointing a finger at me. Standing in your side rest, trying to do my very best, looking straight at you, coming through, darling. Yeah, 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 yeah. slipstream between the viaducts of your dream, where a mobile steel rims crack and the ditch in the back road stop. Could you find me? Would you kiss my eyes and lay me down in silence, easy to be born again, to be born again, to be born again, to be born again. In another world, darling, in another world, in another time. Got a home on high. Ain't nothing but a stranger in this world. I'm nothing but a stranger in this world. I got a home on high in another land, so far away, so far away. We up in the heaven, we up in the heaven, we up in the heaven. Away. In another time, in another place, in another time, in another place. Ooh. In another time, in another place, in another time, in another place, in another phase.
That just feels like walking by the river at like sunset. It's warm, feel good. It's cool air. I don't know. Just feels very good. I don't think that there's a lot in this song for me to like pick into. Like I don't feel like there's a lot for me to like divide up section by section by section by section. Because this is actually a song that feels like just a complete piece of work. There are moments in here that I'm going to talk about, but it works as a complete song. I don't know, it just feels very together. Everything in here feels very harmonious. It feels like it just has this perfect relationship. The instruments with each other, Van Morrison himself on the vocals with it. And speaking of which, fantastic, absolutely fantastic vocals. I really enjoyed his singing. But his singing stands out. Don't misconstrue what I'm about to say. But going with what I just said, it feels like his voice and his vocals were really just part of the mood of the music rather than the standout or the focus. Even though his performance was focus worthy, because it was. But the way he sings, it was just kind of melts into the rest of the music. It feels like another color in the painting rather than the focus of the painting. Listen, love the way that the strings were incorporated. Actually, Let's take his vocals out for a second and some of the guitar, just a little bit, some of the guitar, and you have a very classical inspired piece of music, of course, with the folk and acoustic leanings, absolutely. But let's talk about the violin and the strings in this, because I really, really like the way that, I believe it was like in the pre-chorus of the song, the mood changes just a little bit, and it's the slight tremor of the strings as they just rise just a little bit that like it pads it out in a really interesting and unique way. And you know that there's going to be like more coming in this song. And looking at it, it's a 7-minute song. You got to fill it with something. You have to have a reason for it to be 7 minutes, and it gives you that reason because there's so many like details and subtleties in all the instruments themselves and the way that they contribute to the overall song. Like I said, all of it feels like different colors to a painting.
Could you find me?
Right there.
Or would you kiss my eye?
A little space is left. There's a nice chord change and a nice change in the music there that gives space for those slow vibrations to start to boil up from the strings. That's just a really cool way of foreshadowing more to come, because there is there is a lot more to come. As we move further into the track, we also get flute, which is played by John Payne. The use of the bass here in this song in particular is nice. Double bass, double bass, especially when played in folk music, in like quartet music, where you can really feel it. And the double bass is obviously a big and a strong instrument, but it's also something that you feel. So when it's in a more intimate setting like here with Van Morrison, you can feel it. You can really feel the way that it moves. And there's certain moments in there where, like, yes, it's moving and it's providing rhythm. Yeah, you hear that. It's really nice. But then he strikes one chord. You know, Richard Davis on the bass. He'll strike one single note, and it just vibrates you. It just shakes you, and I like that. It's like it shakes you up from being too complacent within the music itself. Because this is a very chill song, an impassioned song, but a chilled one nonetheless. But then there's moments in there like that are just like, ooh, you know, they kind of hit you and you didn't know it. It's like when the sun hits you just right and you kind of get goosebumps on your skin and you feel like this kind of cool warmth. You know what I mean? Like when the sunlight hits you in just the right way and you feel it like just on your skin. I don't know. That's how I feel about the bass. And even going through the song really quickly again on my own, like just a little bit here and there. Like there are a lot of changes in the music, but they're not structure changes because the song stays at pretty much the same pace the whole way. It's like at certain points A, B, and C are playing continuously, but then B will drop out and D will come in, so then it's A, C, D, and then, you know, C will drop out and B comes back in. Like, that's how the song is played. It changes, but it changes through its layers, not necessarily through the construction and the structure of it, which I think is really cool because this is that type of song to get lost in. You don't necessarily notice all the changes and all the subtleties and all the details that pop in and out. But if you do listen to it, it's really cool to hear how they jump in and out. It says here that on the first recording session for the album, this song was the last of 4 recorded for the day. John Payne, who was playing the flutes, who was working with Morrison, said that this was the first time he had ever heard it, the song, and that although the song may sound rehearsed, it was actually captured from only one take. So that's pretty good. I mean, can you imagine doing a song like this and all of this captured in one take? I mean, that's pretty amazing. Now, maybe that also explains why there are no structure changes really in the song. It does maintain just an even pace. But them knowing how to come in and out, they having, you know, the musicianship that they would have, they're able to play to it and play to the song to make it sound as good as it does here. And I'm just reading here, and it says, for the Astral Week sessions, apparently they did not employ any lead sheets, or at least none were distributed to the musicians. What stood out in my mind was the fact that he allowed us to stretch out, recalls Berliner. We were used to playing to charts, but Van just played us the songs on his guitar and then told us to go ahead and play exactly what we felt. Berliner actually had great appreciation for the freedom given to him and the band, something few, if any of them, were used to. He says he got to play a lot of classical guitar. It was very unusual to play classical guitar in that context. Berliner was the guitarist, by the way, on the song. I don't know if I mentioned that, but That's actually really interesting. I like that. That's a really cool idea to just like provide kind of like, here's your base. You guys can play kind of on top of that. Here's the foundation. You guys build the city. That's actually really interesting. I'm curious. Should I continue with this album? Should I look into a few more songs on here? I don't know. Let me know. The lyrics here. If I ventured into the slipstream between the viaducts of your dream, where immobile steel rims crack and the ditch in the back roads stop, could you find me? Would you kiss in my eyes to lay me down in silence easy, to be born again, be born again? So one of the reasons I really like the album title and I was attracted to this album is because of the name, Astral Weeks. I think like the astral and like beyond your mind and like that kind of thing, like, you know what I mean, like the invisible world. Like I think that's really cool. So Astral Weeks is immediately like, I just think that's really cool. Okay, I love that kind of concept. So getting into those first like two verses, if I've entered into the slipstream, I'm imagining the slipstream being like slipping into that out of body experience, that astral plane, if you will. If he ventured into that slipstream, could you find me? Would you kiss my eyes, lay me down in silence, easy to be born again, to be born again? I imagine it's kind of like a love song. Would you be able to find me no matter where I am? Even if where I am is not a physical and material place, would you be able to find me? I like that. It's kind of cool. From the far side of the ocean, if I put the wheels in motion and I stand with my arms behind me and I'm pushing on the door, could you find me? Could you find me? Now, when I see, whoops, I moved my thing. There you go, standing on the look of avarice, talking to Huddy Ledbetter, showing pictures on the wall, whispering in the hall, and pointing a finger at me. There you go, there you go. Standing in the sun, darling, with your arms behind you and your eyes before. There you go. Taking good care of your boy. Seeing that he's got clean clothes, putting on his little red shoes. I know you know. I see you know he's got clean clothes. Putting on his red shoes, putting on his shoes. Here I am, standing in your sad arrest, trying to do my very best, looking straight at you. Coming through, darling. Yeah. So I feel like he's having this out of body experience, and he's like visiting. I don't know, his girlfriend, someone, his baby's mama. Because he's saying, okay, she's making sure that he's clean. He has his shoes on. He has his clean clothes. And he's saying that he's standing right there. He's looking straight at her. I would assume that she can't see him. This is a bit of a ghost situation. I'm nothing but a stranger. In another land, so far away, way up in heaven, in another time, in another place, way up in heaven, etc., etc. It repeats on those ending lines. So perhaps he's imagining himself being dead and looking back on his loved ones, seeing who's around, what are they doing now. So I think that's a really cool concept. I think that the lyrics are nicely written, and I think that the song sounds just peachy. Of course, you guys are more than welcome to join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on the song, because your thoughts are pretty much 99% of what makes this channel. I enjoy going into the comments, and that's why I spend so much time in there, because that's where I'm learning from you guys, You guys get to see, wide-eyed, innocent and naive Justin over here listening to music that he has no idea about, but I get to dive into the history books with you guys and actually learn something. Anyways, join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below. I hope you're having a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Why did I do this? I don't know. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.